Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the special edition of Midnight Monsters Beyond the Dark. I'm Nighthawk, one of your hosts. We have Eric and we have Ryan Paul Trembly with us today, and we're going to be talking everything about the Chupacabra, okay, and other weird stuff probably because you know us three, when we three get together, there's all kinds of weird shit talked about. Anyways, the disclaimer is this channel, Nighthawk High Strange, this podcast channel, may use some copyrighted materials without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strange, this podcast channel, and all the podcasts on the channel under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, fair use for allowances is made for purposes of criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge and entertainment value. Per Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. All right, let me get that off of there. And hopefully we didn't lose Ryan.
Yeah.
Huh? We lost him. Where did he go?
Yeah. I don't know. Let me message him real quick. Hey, Don.
Where did he go? It's like as soon as we went live, he disappeared off the screen. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. He should still have the invite. I wonder if he had a problem with his internet.
He was talking about something freezing up, and when I was trying to save my notes and close out my notes, and then I got out my notes and didn't see him in there. I just messaged him to see if he'll reply. Hopefully he'll come back on soon. Ozzy Sue, good to see you.
Yeah, Ida, good to see you, Ida. Ida, you need to give me your mailing address again on Messenger, if you would, please, or through the email. Okay, that's the only package I don't have addressed yet. There's ED. Good to see that ED Testament out there. Kyle, good to see you. Don, good to see you. Ozzy Sue, great to see you. And let's see if that's everybody. If anybody's been in the hurricane area, my hat's off to you, man. I hope you all are all right. Our audience is probably going to be a little less because I know there's several people that were affected by the hurricane today, and with the dam breaking there at the border of North Carolina and Tennessee, the town of Newport, Tennessee, got completely flooded out because of the dam, the dam. But it could have been a lot worse. Apparently, there was also a bridge that collapsed too, somewhere down around there. So yeah, they got hit pretty hard. So we got a lot of the rain and some of the wind, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Kyle says his niece is trapped on the second floor of her dorm along with a bunch of others near Asheville, Nevada.
Oh my God. Oh man, my heart bleeds for those people. It does. Yeah, my heart really goes out to those people. It's you don't want to ever go through a disaster like that. You never come out of that kind of a disaster the same too. You're actually, if you're lucky enough to survive that kind of a disaster, and land on your feet, you're more prepared for the next time it might happen. So in that aspect, it's a good thing. But personally, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, to tell you the truth, because it's just it's a heartache when you go through that. Oh, let me see here.
He hasn't replied yet, so I'm hoping everything's okay. Oh, North Carolina. I seen NV, so that's why I was thinking Nevada. Yeah, it happened in North Carolina.
Yeah, it hit 100 miles east of Dawn's daughter. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that up there. Yeah, Kyle was saying it came up over the top of the dam.
Yeah. Yeah, they thought the dam broke, but it actually, the sheriff was actually misreported that because of the water level going over the dam. But yeah, it's still a mess. It's still a complete mess.
He must be restarting his system because he hasn't even replied yet.
Well, we'll give him a couple minutes, and
Yeah.
hey, I mean, there's still us two here. I was
Heck yeah.
hoping that we wouldn't lose him. I was hoping we wouldn't lose him.
Heck yeah. No, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. I mean, between that and they're already starting to put the bug out about the fake alien invasion. Hey,
Yeah.
Roxanne. And
Well,
then, of
howdy,
course, the
Roxanne.
thing is,
You know what we talked about backstage. You know what they did over DC now.
Mhm.
There's a 35
Oh
mile
yeah.
hour, a 35-mile diameter swath of Washington DC that is a
Mhm.
no-fly zone all the way up to over 99,000 feet,
Mhm.
and it's set to that permanently now. They don't
Yeah.
have any plans on taking that down anytime soon, which tells me that they just basically escalated this whole crap with these other countries in the time of
Mhm.
WAR, So
Yep. I was listening to another thing was talking about this alien stuff that's happening. I was like, right there, I knew. I mean, hey, Jessica, it instantly hit me. The fake alien invasion, which they're going to claim it's an actual alien invasion, which it's not. It's going to be fake. It's going to be
right.
CGI'd and stuff like that. But whenever I seen that deal on that the other day, I mean, that was the first thing popped in my head was, well, the 10 days of darkness is happening soon. Now they're talking about the fake alien invasion. And you told me about the DC deal. I was like, yep, well, everything's fixing to come out to light here real soon.
Yeah, let me see if I can message him again.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird how he fell off of there as soon as we went live.
Yeah, he said something about Frozen while you was talking and explaining something to me, and then when I got done saving my notes on Saint Germain, he was gone. Yeah, he still hasn't
Not
messaged me
good.
back either.
Uh,
Hope he's all right. Jessica, hope you're feeling better. Hey, Twisted, how's it going? But
hey, Twisted. Hi, Jessica.
yep.
Well, this might be a short broadcast then because I'm in no condition to actually talk tonight, to tell you the truth. So, but we
Mm.
were going to be talking about the chupacabra, and we still need to bring that subject matter up. I've got a couple things that I uploaded here to the StreamYard recently that I
Okay.
thought were very, very interesting to take a look at and compare notes with. We all know that the whole chupacabra thing started, over in Haiti
Mm.
during the early 80s, late 70s and early 80s, was the first reported sightings of finding chickens with their blood drained, finding
Sheep
goats with their
cattle.
blood drained, all kinds of stuff. But mostly
Mm.
chicken and goats there in Haiti. And they described a type of a creature that basically would fulfill your very nightmare. What they described was kind of I don't know. Did the original one? I can't remember, Eric, if the original one had the wings on it or if it was wingless.
Both. I mean, from what I was able to tell, the original one was wingless, and shortly after it had wings. Both of these styles are almost the same age as far as reporting goes, but I'm pretty sure, if memory serves me correctly, the first one was without wings. It was almost canine like, but it was more lizard than canine. Had spikes and furs going down its back, red eyes, sharp vampiric like teeth with a long tongue.
which is not even close to the description of the animal that they've gotten in Texas in the early 90s and or late 90s into early 2000s on the dash cam videos. They found him also dead in the middle of a road getting hit by a car. This one is the one that the one female physician down there in Texas had taxidermied after it died. She kept it in her freezer for the longest time in deep freeze to preserve it until she could find a taxidermist that would do it. So, but yeah, this is what they see in Texas with the blue eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, even the fangs on this thing are extra long as far as I'm concerned. But nothing else other than the back end of it had these two almost like bladder looking protruding lumps on its ass that basically nobody knew what they were there for. So I'm not sure if they did the autopsy or what do they call that on animals, the necropsy onto them.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
And,
yeah.
But the animal actually looks like a coyote with mange, and I do believe that mange has something to do with it. But I think that those teeth, those canines, are just a little too long for the coyote. That's just my opinion. So, and that could be the way the picture's, angled and all that too. So, but there's a lot to be said about the animals being found all the way from like down in South America all the way up into New England. There's been reports of this type of activity. So, especially by farmers with small livestock.
Yeah. And the canine featured one is the one I believe came from Texas.
Right.
As far as the earliest reports go from Puerto Rico and all them areas working all his way up through Mexico has been lizard like.
Ryan, if you could hear us,
jump.
Yeah, if Ryan can hear us, just join the chat then at least, and then people in the chat can pick his brain while we're blabbering on.
But yeah, it's so I mean it's an interesting critter. There's too many things that they're coming across saying it's Chupacabra when it ain't Chupacabra. I mean, it's obvious it's a dog with mange, a cat with mange, a raccoon, or a possum. I mean, a lot of that stuff. Even one of them was a dang bear. I mean, it was. I remember one of them was caught in a cave, and they swore up and down this was Chupacabra, and I said from the get go, that's a coon, that's a hairless coon. And come find out, a few days later, it was a hairless coon. That's like I can tell that just by his hands, its body, and everything. I knew what it was. I've skinned enough coons in my life, eating them. I know what they look like without hair.
Yeah, but when I look at this picture that I've got up right now, Eric, when I look at this picture, I think of what you've got wandering around over there in the Ozarks, the Ozark howler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that Ozark howler is pretty good. I just had a recent sighting of that probably about 20 miles west of my house a few months ago. And the guy who had the encounter, he called me up. He's a good brother of mine. And he's like, man, I found something. He goes, I don't know what it could be. I said, well, kind of describe it. And he was describing it. I said, buddy, I think I know what it is. I said, give me a second. And I looked up, an artist drawing of Ozark howler, sent it to him. He goes, that's it. That's exactly what I saw. I said, buddy, that's an Ozark howler. And then a few days later, he was going down the same road, not far from where he seen that Ozark Howler, and he says, he goes, because I'm a sign guy, so I do a lot of sign work, and he goes, what's the height of the top of the green signs you have on top stop signs? I said, well, those are 911s. I said, you're looking at roughly 12 foot. You know, it's going to be at the top, the very top 911. And he goes, I seen a pair of big ass yellow eyes staring over the top of one of those 911s. So I said, man, that'd put this creature about 14 foot. 20 miles as a crow flies, Kyle. 20 miles as a crow flies from my house. If I was driving, it'd probably be more like 30, about 32, 35 miles if I drove it.
Makes you wonder, man. Yeah. A lot of weird stuff happening.
Yeah. Riley says we had one alleged encounter in Lowell County, but I believe it was a Fisher cat. And there's been a lot of them too. Yeah, I mean, Riley, there's been a lot of stuff they're catching on camera or saying they're catching in traps is coons and possums. It seems to be the biggest one. Say ghost. Seems to be the ones that got mange. They ain't got no hair on them. Seems to be the most common one, along with a cat and a dog. That's another most common one that they're catching on photo, or they're catching on video, or they're catching in these traps they're setting up with them. A coon will get a chicken. A possum will get a chicken. A cat and a dog will get a chicken too. So, when they're saying these things, you got an animal that's losing its hair, it's got something wrong with it, they're going to eat more. Well, when you got to have an abundance of KFC walking around your yard, they're an easy prey. They're going to go after that easy prey.
Yeah, I almost wonder that those on the original one that the doctor had in her deep freezer, the Chupacabra dog-looking one, the canine-looking one. I almost wonder if the two bladder-looking pouches on the ass end of it were actually to store the blood.
Could have been that, or it could have been pus pockets.
Yeah,
I mean, but it was
those are pretty big pus pockets.
Yeah. Or I mean, another thing it could be too is cancer. Cancer comes up as big old pouches like that on areas too. So it could have been something with cancer. That's another thing that pops up big on them as well.
That's something that they should have found if they did a necropsy on it. So, but apparently they didn't. I don't know why. The woman was a damn doctor. She could have done it herself.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. And we also got to consider a factor that it's not very nice to consider, but it sadly, it's the freaking truth. And people twist words to gain popularity, and with popularity becomes money. We got to understand. We got to keep that in mind as well.
Right.
Could have been a porcupine. Yeah,
it could have been a porcupine. Yeah.
I'm looking at the teeth and everything. That's canine. That almost looks like a damn sheep. That's weird. It looks like a dog and a sheep mixed.
That is weird how it's got the tail tucked up around its leg. So that means that it's intimidated by something.
Which is very caninistic.
Yeah, there's just, and then all the descriptions though of the Chupacabra are a little bit different. And that's why I said that the one picture that I have here reminds me of the Ozark Howler, because it literally is built like the Ozark Howler is described to be, Let me show that again.
Yeah, to me, that's Ozark Howler. I mean, it looks like the Ozark Howler and the Chupacabra had sex, and that's the offspring right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's got a lot of characteristics of a Chupacabra. It's also got a lot of characteristics of the Ozark Howler. I just think it's clout.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't think Ryan's going to have.
This is sad. Yeah, he hasn't messaged me back either. I'm kind of worried about him now. I mean, we were doing good. We were going strong, and all of a sudden, bam, gone.
Yeah. That's weird how that happens, too.
Hey, Stuart, how's it going? So I mean, and what's sad is us as researchers who's actually trying to get to the truth of this stuff. There is so many fake ass people out there that it makes our job harder because people want that click. You know, people want to
Yeah.
come up with their own little thing so they can build up their own little following, get their own little, money flow come in. They're trying to tap into that cash cow, which is the cryptid and paranormal supernatural universe. And people like us is legitimately trying to get to the answers of this. We get thrown off. It makes it hard. So
I'm gonna
I'm
see
getting it.
if I
I'm
can
loving these
pull him
comments.
up here. Hold on. Let
Hmm.
me see.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now what happened?
Me, I was yelling at the dog, getting in the trash can. He's at that stage in his life now
No,
that he thinks it's cool to get in the
something
trash can.
happened with my computer.
Oh, that ain't good.
Yeah, the screen went completely black. Let me see
Whoa.
here. No, he hasn't selected the attachment yet that I sent because I sent him a second attachment thinking maybe the link screwed up.
Hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, he hasn't even read the message I sent to him, which is kind of
That is
worrisome.
too weird. That is too weird. Um,
Get out of it.
yeah. Too weird. Too weird. I just went through all the ways I could contact him and there's nothing.
Hmm.
Anyways, let's see here. Let's find out if
He was in your
anybody in
stream.
the chat, yeah, if anybody in the chat has had any run-ins with the Chupacabra or something along the lines. I put that question out to everybody out there in the chat. Ghost, it's good to see you. Stuart, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So Ghost said he
Okay.
was in his stream before we disappeared. So I'm wondering if
Yeah.
his internet didn't crap out on him.
Hmm. Well, we're just going to have to reschedule him.
Yep. That's
We're
a
just,
common one, Kyle. I mean, you're absolutely that's a common one.
yeah, that's what I said in the beginning too. But
Hmm.
it is weird though how that commonality looking like a coyote with mange. I mean, what it's like Ryan
Hmm.
and you and I were talking backstage before we went live, what are the possible effects of a possible genetic mutation from it, biting something else and not draining all of its blood, but turning it
Hmm.
into kind of like an offspring of the original, chupacabra.
Hmm. Heck yeah. I mean, and so I mean, there's one theory that it is governmental made. I'm not so much on that bandwagon.
Right.
Um, now that's not to say that they haven't caught some and done some kind of experimentation and mutating with them. That is possible. I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it ain't. Um, but I'm more of along the lines this is something different.
Yeah, I am too. And the something that's been bugging me too with this whole thing, the original sighting talks about it, looking almost alien, this type of a
Hmm.
feature on it, like it's not from this world. And I know that on Haiti, where it was originally spotted and described by the Haitian people there, that there was a secret special access programs base on Haiti up in the mountain there. So, could they have had something to do with this? Maybe.
Or a
Especially
version
if
of it.
they're, yeah, or a version of it. You're right. It very well could be something that genetically got out. And now it has the ability to, when it bites something, it can either make a conscious decision whether to drain its blood completely or drain it just enough to make it, mutate into a form of what it is. So I don't know. It's just a theory. So
Yeah. Now, Stuart, I think that's that doctor one we was just talking about.
yeah.
So, Jessica says there's a bunch of chupacabra being made in labs in Puerto Rico that escaped during a hurricane in 1994, but those were described like gray aliens with spikes and kangaroo legs. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't think the original was, but like I said, the possibility of the government doing it, I can't dispute that. Because the Puerto Ricans when they originally started describing it they were saying it was vampiric like. I mean, they had vampiric like teeth. It was draining the blood of these animals. It was very vampiric. So, which would lead to another thing. Could this be the vampiric dog? Vampires get lonely and create a dog, and bam, you got the chupacabra. I know I'm just me being funny, but I mean, hell,
It's actually a possibility, though. I mean, it's actually could be
Yeah.
a legitimate possibility. I mean, that when you form your basis for a conclusion on this subject, you can't leave any stone unturned because there's
No.
a wide range of reasons for this type of a being to just all of a sudden show up in an island, on an island that if it was there for a while, the legends would be there for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it wasn't.
Yeah. And so, I mean, if you study vampires, I mean, hey, Celia, there's so many of them, of encounters of them having animals that they turned over because the ones that were humans first and then changed into a vampire still keep a lot of their human traits to them, from what I understand.
Well, aren't the
So,
vampires aren't the elders of the vampires protected by what they call a hellhound while they sleep?
uh, I can't remember if it's a hellhound or if it was something else. Jessica said the ones in Puerto Rico had a proboscis type tongue or proboscis type tongue like a mosquito. I haven't heard of that one before. That's new. That's interesting.
Well, that
So it's
sucks.
kind of like those one vampires off the Blade that they look like the vampires and the predators had sex and they have a new type of vampire now. Blam. Mouth comes open, this tongue comes out, alien, vampire, chupacabra, predator, all
Yeah,
mixed in one in that Blade movie. Yeah.
yeah, the one that where the it came out like a round thing out of the
Mm-hmm.
mouth, yeah, with all the teeth around it.
Yeah.
Looks kind of like, what do they call that? The Mongolian death worm coming out of your mouth.
Yeah. But that tongue is a lot like what she's describing. It's on them vampires in that Blade movie. It comes out and it actually drains the blood.
Yeah,
Where
it
did
makes you
you
wonder.
the
Makes
howler
you
in my neck
wonder.
of the woods? It was
Just
off of
don't
J
be French.
Highway, Roxy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just don't be French kissing too many people out there, folks, because you never know. They might be, a chupacabra.
There's worse ways to
Oh,
go.
yeah, you got that right. Oh, let's see, if Ryan was here, he'd be naming the ways.
Mhm.
Oh,
Go says most believe werewolves were their protectors. I mean, that's more of a modern pop culture thing. If you
Yeah,
actually
that's
study vampires and the history of it, it's not really talked about. They actually don't like each other.
right. Yeah. They can't stand the smell of each other, actually. Um,
Hmm.
but you know, I do believe that the head vampire of a coven is protected by red-eyed devil dogs at night or at
Hmm.
during the day when it sleeps. Um, I don't know. I can't remember where I heard that from, but I'm definitely positive about that. So yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, I guess you could take and twist the devil dog into being possibly werewolves because you never know. It's
It
like
could,
it's like there's 18 names for Bigfoot, you know? So I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's very possible. The two main devil dog stuff I know about. One of them is here in Missouri, and it's a supernatural woman. Some call it a hag, some call it something else. I can't remember. It's been a while since I heard the story. But she's been known to sick her hellhounds on people to chase them and drag them into the river. The only other ones that I know of besides three, I'm sorry, there's three because there's one in England and one in Norway too. So the Norse tell you the wild hunt. Um, they have what is a hellhound, also known as the black shuck. Then
right,
England has just a black shuck itself, which is very much described as a hellhound. But as far as the hellhound experiences its names itself, that's uh, let's see, that'd be Greek talk about it, with oh, I forgot the name of that bastard. Yeah, I mean,
that's
there's
dirty
hey
bastard.
James, yeah, um,
Uh,
but yeah, no, I mean, so there's encounters of them. I didn't know about them being with the vampires. Now, like I said, I mean, we can't dispute the fact that they transform something, and
right,
so if we look at the vampire lure. When it comes to the oldest of the female vampires lures, you're looking at Adam's first wife, Lilith, who was a succubus. And then if you want to go on the male side, you're looking at Judas, and that's where the old tradition of the silver and the vampires came about was because of Judas, selling his soul for 30 pieces of silver when he hung himself on the not the ash tree, the oh, what was that dang tree? I can't remember the name of that tree. It wasn't an ash tree, it was something else, which is the type of tree you need to be able to stake a vampire and kill him. Um, that would be the oldest male version of vampires that you can read throughout history. I mean, Lilith was cursed by God for denying Adam and denying God and never returning to the Garden of Eden. So there's your succubus. Succubus are a vampire that they come to men in their sleep. Single men who sleep alone. They either one counter they'll tell you they steal their semen, so they have sex with you and steal their semen, which creates the babies. The other is they steal the semen and drain your life force. So you got that aspect of it, which is one of the oldest ones, and that's even in ancient Sumerian. Even ancient Sumerian talks about Lilith and this stuff that goes on. Um,
okay, good, Roxanne.
okay,
Thank you.
good. Thank you, Roxanne. So I mean, you have
Yeah,
this aspect of that stuff going on. So I mean, there's a lot of there he is. There's a lot of supernatural when it comes to this, but you also got to consider the people that was converted, and then a lot of the encounters you hear on that is like I said, they keep their humanity. It wasn't an olive tree. It was like a I can't remember the name of it. Ghost. I'll have to look it up again. I had it earlier, and I forgot what it is, but it starts with an A. Is what the tree was, and this is the only type of tree that you can use to make a stake to kill them. So, but if you get the ones that's converted into humans, this is a very good possibility why you have Chupacabra, because they could be keeping that humanity and converting these dogs or these whatever into this, and this is where you get the vampiric version of the Chupacabra. It's just
right.
it's a throw in the wind of a theory, but it fits a little bit. Hawthorn
I'm
tree.
not.
No, that's
How we
it.
doing,
That's
Ryan?
it, Riley. I'm sorry. Yes, that is Hawthorn tree. Thank you. That is it.
I have returned. I'm sorry, everybody. My internet got cut off. So,
Oh,
That's what I figured.
okay.
I
Well,
figured.
that's fine. At least you came back.
yes, I did.
Yeah.
I'm like a
Uh,
bad penny, bro. You
We
can't
were-
get rid of me.
well, Ryan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Ryan, and let everybody know who you are and what you do and
Okay.
how
Well,
you know us.
all right. Well, I'm Ryan Trembly. A lot of you guys know me already, but I'm a huge monster enthusiast and I'm a cryptozoologist. I'm a Native American folklorist. I'll be writing some books on the Wendigo, the Yinaralushi, and some indigenous lore. William is my brother. Eric, I met through Facebook, I believe, right, Eric? We met through Facebook and then through William,
Yep.
but we've all been
Yes.
friends for a good long time. Yeah.
Yep.
Give me
Yep.
1 second.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
I don't know. You got something going on.
Uh-oh.
Phone call.
What's
Good
up,
news.
Twisted?
And it's all good. Roxanne was just calling me, let me know that Ryan said texted said he'd be on soon. I said, yeah, he's on now.
Yeah. Celia, hello.
Roxanne.
There's Ghosts. Hey, Ghost, how are you?
I
William,
love the hell out of Roxanne. She takes good care of us.
Ghost is the co-host for Gemma Jade's show, so that's somebody you can talk to
okay.
about getting on Tuesday.
Ah, Ghost Dragon. Okay.
Yes, he's a good man. Ghost is a very, very good man.
All right.
I
Good.
love the hell out of his Godzilla deal.
Oh yeah, who doesn't love that? Come on, man.
Dude, Godzilla's the man. That's the beast, dude. That's
You're
the
telling me?
Leviathan of all Leviathans right there.
You're
man.
telling me, brother. You're telling me.
Kyle, where
Dude,
does
I
Kyle
grew
come?
up-
Where does Kyle come up
It's
with these
Godzilla!
things? Where does Kyle come up with these things? Look at that. Bros like a dog passing a peach seed. Oh God.
Yeah,
But,
William, Ghost has some experiences that you guys should talk about, man. Because these
Oh,
things
yeah?
are things.
Well,
Yeah, I can't answer what he's been through, but maybe you can. He's seen
Hey,
some
I mean-
weird stuff, brother.
Well, definitely
I'm-
have him hit me up on Messenger
Mhm.
and friend me,
yeah.
and I'll definitely talk to him. That's for
Okay.
sure.
So we're talking about the
man,
Chupacabra, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Chupacabra. We started the conversation and then you kind of disappeared.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I said, get out.
Yeah, kind of like the mystery of the Chupacabra. You disappeared.
Yep, I sure did. Well, you know, there's a lot of misinformation about the Chupacabra out there, brother. A lot of people will tell you that people were seeing it in the 70s, but the actual first sighting of the Chupacabra was 1995. And a woman in Puerto Rico reported seeing this in her backyard. But what's interesting about her encounter, just days before, she was watching the movie Species. If you remember that movie, it was like a reptilian humanoid of sorts. It was an alien, but she looked very reptilian. It had the spikes along her back and everything. So when you look
Yeah,
at her encounter, her eyewitness description, and you match it up with the Species monster, it's a lot alike. So you got to wonder if she was
Yeah.
having nightmares or something like that. You know, I don't know.
Well, take it from somebody who dream walks. You can give people nightmares, that's for sure.
Mhm.
And with a lot of the Caribbean islands being into the darker magics and spells and stuff, then you could possibly have somebody that would have hexed her to dream that way.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Supernaturally, yeah. So, but I
Mhm.
mean, hexes and curses happen all the time. I mean, there for the longest time when I was growing up, I was every time I was doing a Native American ceremony, it was basically to call forth a curse from the land to present itself to the white man,
Right.
because I didn't like white people, So,
Understandably so.
but since then I've changed my mind, and I was young then and dumb and just
Mhm.
but it could be the same exact thing with a lot of the island people too, though, where
Yeah.
they're limited on their vast knowledge of things in the expanse of the world and happening around the world and other areas. So
Yep.
they liken it to either the last thing that they see or try to describe it, and it comes out to being described as something they visually saw in like a movie. So
Well, we still do that today. If you look at the Dogman encounters, I mean, how many times do you hear it? Oh, it looked like the werewolf from American Werewolf in London, or it looked like the werewolves from the Howling. We still do that today. It's a very common thing to do. Yeah. But I always thought, I always thought that Chupacabra was an alien, though. In my personal opinion, it's an extraterrestrial thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's what that's what we were talking about before you came back on. You know,
I caught the tail end of that.
Yeah, we were actually thinking that, and you know, everything points to that. And then there's nothing saying that, say the original Chupacabra being an alien, there's nothing saying that it couldn't have mutated its DNA into something else, you know, draining the blood out of it, you know, and not draining all the blood out of it, but leaving enough into where it would live, but also be infected with whatever virus that it has.
True. That's very possible. I mean, it could be a thought form too. You know, I mean, that's something that I believe with a lot of cryptids is that they're thought forms. We're not seeing the actual flesh and blood real deal, but we're seeing something that in the Topa kind of way, our energies from our thoughts and our obsessions with it are giving them physical manifestation.
Exactly.
That's why I tell people, you got to be careful what you really get obsessed with and what you really look into, because you can manifest these things.
Exactly. And, you know, that's one thing that I said all along from day one, that, you know, we have the ability to do manifestations and a lot of supernatural things. But a lot of mankind has just, they're like a slate that's been wiped clean memory wise. And, but some of us still practice the old ways and do the old things and the supernatural stuff. So we do have it. So.
Well, I think what people have to remember, though, brother, is we're not humans having a spiritual experiences. We're spirits having human experiences. Exactly. You know, so we have these gifts to do things like, you know, manifestation and projection. We just don't really recognize that.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna step out for just a second, guys. All right.
Okay, brother.
I gotta take some medication. I'll be right back.
Okay. You okay, brother?
Riley has a question for us. She goes, "What do you believe, or what would you believe that lady saw in Puerto Rico?"
I think she saw an alien. I really do. I mean, sure, her description of it might have lined up with that sill creature from the species a bit too much, but I do think she saw some kind of alien. I honestly do. Because, I mean, look at the drawing that she made. It wasn't identical to the creature from species, but it was different enough where she did see something. She absolutely saw something. And I think that what she saw that night was an extraterrestrial. I think she just had the luck of the draw, walked outside and happened to see an alien that was wandering around. It happens.
You know, and so the very first time I ever heard that story, I was on the belief that she possibly seen a Chupacabra or something very similar to a Chupacabra. Now, the more you learn about her and the more that you learn that her story changed and her testimony changed, would lead me to believe she may have been making it up. But
she could have been.
I can't 100% say that, because I know how things work down there, and sometimes you're forced to change things around from your original ideal.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
I have to lean towards she probably saw something. Now,
so
we actually have to put the fear factor in this as well. Her fear could have caused her to project what she saw on species.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That could have caused her to think she saw something that wasn't.
Well, so here's my thing, though.
We have to factor that.
If it was just her that saw that thing and, you know, her story changed as many times as it did, I'd be like, okay, it was a one and done. It's not real. But in Puerto Rico and even in Mexico, El Chupacabra is actually quite feared. It's not something that people talk about easy. You know, when they talk about the El Chupacabra, there's always a tension with it. There's a genuine scare that these guys have. So if all these farmers in Mexico and Puerto Rico have this fear, there's got to be something to it.
There has to be. So, I mean, because it originated in Puerto Rico and then migrated north. So, could that be one aspect?
Well,
we got a couple. couple different views on
how's
this
it
here.
gonna? I mean, I don't know. You guys might have covered this, but how does it travel from Puerto Rico and Haiti islands to the South American area of the continent or Texas? I mean,
Well,
either it's a hell of a swimmer or it is an extraterrestrial and can basically get there.
well, if you want a more scientific approach, William, I mean, there's a lot of exports that go from Puerto Rico. You know, they come over to our country. Who's to say it didn't get into one of the cargo ships? And, you know, and it hits your ride. When it came over
Yeah,
here, it was kind of like, oh, there's plenty of food here.
Wouldn't you think that that something would have led them to believe that something weird was happening on board of whatever the cargo ship or the cargo plane?
Depends on
Maybe,
who's
but
shipping it.
Weird would have happened. You know, I mean, you would sense something weird anyways.
yeah,
I'm not saying that, you know what I mean, but like crew members basically seeing something or hearing something, or you know, there's always some kind of a sign that we're
mhm.
given. And humanity, we've been given these senses, these senses of sight, smell, touch, and taste, and hear that you know, you would think one of those senses would pick up on it, you know.
You would think so, but not everybody's in tune, though, brother. You know, you notice there's a lot of people that just don't notice things that are so obvious. They're very
Yeah.
oblivious to things, and I think some people condition themselves to be oblivious. So
Yeah,
if
true.
that thing was on a ship with them, they might just, you know, sense something, but they go, it's nothing. It's just me being paranoid, and just walk away.
Which
True.
leads into a couple other aspects. Now, you know, we kind of discussed this at the beginning of the show.
hmm
The military very well could have got a hold of one and mutated it, and this is where you get the transportation part of it comes from.
Yeah.
Alien is another very good possibility.
hmm
Something else that we seem to forget is these elites. I just realized what I was putting up. These elites like to get certain exotic things and transport them. So, I mean, all
Yeah.
these are dead. I bet you also got the migration path. We
Yeah.
humans, our ancestors, followed the prey.
hmm
Shiatonka follows the prey. And Lola de Gagla follows the prey. All these things follow prey.
Yes.
You know, if you're getting too many in one area, you're not going to have enough food to support it, which would cause migration following the prey.
Yeah. Yeah. All possibilities. I mean, we don't know. That's the big answer right there. Is we don't know. We have conjecture, opinion, ideas, and theories, but will we ever know? Who
Well,
knows?
the first thing, the first thing I would want to do as an investigator was to see if there's still this kind of a phenomena happening in Puerto Rico today,
hmm
as compared to, you know, back then, you know, how often and all that, or whether this is something else. Because, you know, I hate to say it, but a lot of things, like Ryan said earlier, you know, we have the ability to manifest things.
Yeah.
Mankind has the ability to manifest their deepest fears that they have. Okay. And, you know, that's like if somebody's afraid of clowns. Okay.
Yep.
Think about that fear. You know, they could bring forth, you know, some kind of demonic type of a being with that would emphasize that fear of theirs, you know.
hmm
It's the same fear. If you're talking fear, then you're talking also like the possession of a Wendigo, which you know that's a fear.
Yeah.
Hunger is a fear. If anybody's been there, you know that hunger can make you do some stupid things. You know, so
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean,
So I mean, and all
think
the
about the
all the
climate
good
nowadays too. You know, if you think about the social climate nowadays, we're a very angry lot. You know, the human race is angrier than it's ever been. You know, people are so full of hate and fear that manifestation of demonic evil things would be the easiest thing to do these days.
right, yeah, true, very true, very true. What were you going to say, Eric?
Yep. I mean, we there's so many aspects of this that we could follow, and which you're right, we're going to have to dive deeper into this. And as far as encounter goes, I believe they are still having encounters to this day.
Yeah. Oh,
I
I
believe
can
they
tell you
still are.
firsthand experience. You know, when I went to Mexico to ask about the Chupacabra years ago, they were still very much afraid of it. It wasn't like, you know, when people talk about Bigfoot, there's always that gleeful part to it where people are like, oh yeah, let's talk about Bigfoot. You bring up El Chupacabra to some of the ranchers down in Mexico, and they're like, oh, we don't even want to talk about it. You know, this thing's dangerous.
Yeah.
This thing is deadly. So
So yeah, because it's basically described as a soulless creature. That's why, and you know, the majority of the South American people and Mexican people are Catholic, and they're very, very religious oriented. So that demonic aspect of the supernatural part of this being really scares the hell out of them. So
yeah, as it should, as it should. I mean, if anything has that spiritual part to it, then there's a reason to fear it. You know, I mean, a spirit you can't control too easily. And once you let it loose, you know, you can't really tell what's going to happen. It's like letting a bull go in a china shop. You know, there's going to be damage. You know, there is, but can you minimize the damage? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
I mean, you also got to consider too, you know, demons are known to pick our brain for our fear. So they not only do they feed on our fear, but fear helps them to attach themselves to you so much easier. So a lot of times when you're dealing with red eyes, you're dealing with something demonic, which could be, hey, this person has this fear of this, and this I'm going to project myself as this, and because I'm hungry, I need something to eat. Some of these encounters very well could be that.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, we talk about it all the time with the dogman encounters. You know how they try to scare the witnesses, they smile at them and do things to really provoke that fear, but they don't hurt them physically. So there has to be some kind of string that you can follow, and it's going to attach to all these different things.
Right, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, see, Roxanne, that's what I'm talking about. They're so terrified of talking about the Chupacabra.
Yeah.
It's just like the SW. I mean, a lot of people's scared to talk about it because you're going to bring that upon yourself. And we're finding this with the Chupacabra as well.
Yep.
That's funny because I talk about it all the time, and but
yeah, we both do.
Coming from that subject, you know, of the SWs, that you know, and being a part of that for so long with my teachings and stuff, you know, it doesn't fear me because I've been there. You know, it may not be the exact ceremony that the Dene people use. But you know, it's still the same basic ceremonial things that have to be established. You have to have that conduit to the supernatural, which is the person taking upon the possession. Okay. And you know, you have to do the flesh offering, the sacrifice. Something major has to be sacrificed, which is what the flesh offerings were for. So, you know, and to this day, we still do flesh offerings before Inipi, before sweat lodge ceremonies and stuff like that too. Sundance is another one, you know. So, just saying, you know, I just, you know, there's just certain things that that when you're raised up around that type of a supernatural type of a legend, you don't tend to worry about it too much because it's like second nature, you know. And it's not like having your guard down, you know. I'm not saying have your guard down, but more like your guard's always up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so you're conditioned to have it up at all times.
Yeah.
And Riley, there was a story years ago where supposedly a family was attacked by a Chupacabra. I don't know if there's any truth to that story, but allegedly they were trying to come across the border and they ran into this thing.
So I was about to say the same thing because I've heard of that too. I actually have a question.
Yeah.
So I've not been able to find this in the Mesoamerican history. Is there any encounters of this thing throughout the Mesoamerican history? Because I've not been able to find any, which would tell me this is something new, which would lean it more towards the line of being alien or vampiric made than it would be actual cryptid.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because no, there's actually no historical documentation. You know, when you go really far back and you try to find anything historically that's referring to anything like the Chupacabra, you won't find it because it's not there. You know, that's why I was saying earlier that people were saying, oh, it was seen in the 70s. No, it wasn't. The first actual sighting was 1995. So this is really a newer cryptid, if you will. I mean, I don't even know if it's a cryptid per se. If it's anything alien or supernatural, it's not a cryptid. But the first documented sighting was 1995.
And that's what I kind of wondered.
You don't think this thing could be related to something else in the past, do you?
It could be. I mean, honestly, brother, if you look at, you know, all these different legends that we study, there's always some kind of reference somewhere else. You know, like Dogman's a perfect example. You got the werewolves from France. You got the Rougarou. You got all these different things. And of course, Bigfoot, you know, every tribe has their stories of Bigfoot. So is there something we're missing when we do Chupacabra research? There might be. There might very well
there could be. Even the Romans talked about a lycanthrope. You know, they fought a lycanthrope, which is either a werewolf or a dog man, depends, because I don't know if it had a tail or not. I don't remember that in any of the descriptions with the Romans, but it would be either an actual werewolf or an unlala. I mean, I can't freaking talk. I'll let William say it because I can't talk today. So,
ooh, that's a freaky.
Riley says, but the question, Riley says, but the question arises: if it's an alien, why does it drink the blood of animals? Could be what they survive off of.
Look maybe at your reptilian. In the blood.
Well, not only that, there's you know, always the possibility that it could be something to have to do with the adrenochrome.
Yep.
And I know that they have in the past with cattle mutilations linked that there is something about the removal of a certain glands around the mouth of the cattle and around the sexual reproductive organs, along with the adrenochrome from the animal, the fear from the animal heightening up the blood aspect of the blood and making it more of a viable, more of a almost like an elixir of life. So,
well, to add to that, well, think about mosquitoes. You know, when mosquitoes drink our blood, they use that to lay eggs. What if the Chupacabra needed the blood to reproduce? You know, who's to say that it has to procreate like we do? If it's not human or any known animal, it's not going to procreate the way that we do, possibly. Maybe what it does is, you know, drinks the blood, and that's the way it lays eggs and gives birth. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good.
Jessica earlier brought up something good, that one of the encounters said its tongue was that like a mosquito. And that's where I was talking about the vampires in Blade. It looks like Alien, Predator, and vampires had, you know, a big old orgy and created that type of vampire. The tongue comes out and sucks blood. I mean, that is a possibility. I don't know. I personally haven't heard of that before, but she brought that up, which would.
That is a nightmarish image that you've just painted, though, Eric. Those three having an orgy. I don't need to think about that. Dude, man. That's not right. That's not cool, man.
I'm a horror writer for a reason.
That was wrong.
You're a horror writer.
You're wrong for that, Eric. You're wrong for that, brother.
But I can't remember what them vampires were called, but they did. I mean, so if they do have that tongue that comes out and sucks the blood, it's possible.
You're talking about the Reapers.
I know that. Yes, Reapers. Thank you. Reapers, the Reapers. But most of the counters I know, they had two puncture marks where they drained the blood, which would be more vampiric side than there would be the mosquito side.
Right. But well, I mean, I'm not saying they're mosquito in every way, but maybe when they drink the blood, though, that gives them what they need to reproduce in some way.
Well, have you all seen that video clip that's going around now of the black guy that is claiming he is a vampire, and how he shows documented proof about his birth and all that? And he shows his fangs coming out of his making his fangs bigger. You know, just fast like that. you know, it's hard to tell if it's CGI or if it's AI, but, you know, there's always that possibility that this could have been something that was created from an ancient vampiric race, like saying from you know, Romania or someplace along that area, into some kind of creature along the way, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
So
there's so many possibilities, man. You know, that's the thing about being a researcher is you have to overturn every single stone, even the pebbles. You got to look under every rock, look into every crevice, because there's going to be something you miss. Every time there's going to be some clue that you miss, and you have to go back and try to find it again. That's just what it means to be a researcher.
yeah, good to see you, Hobbit.
Roxanne said, wasn't the pics of the goats have some kind of teeth marks on the goats? I seem to remember something on that when the reports came out. Yeah, I remember the two puncture marks.
Yeah, I remember teeth marks too. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Roxanne's all on it, man. She knows her stuff.
Dude, she's the beast. I'm telling you.
She's a beast.
She's straight beast modes in here. She keeps me in line.
Yeah, you said that affectionately, by the way, Roxanne.
Oh man.
Yeah, I did. I love messing with her. Me and her give each other a hard time all the time. Hobbit says, I lived in Mexico, from Mexico City, and several places all around the Acapulco and Tupa back in 86 and 87. And La Cupaccabra was known then.
I don't know, that might be, but I mean, when you really go back and you do the research, they'll tell you that it really wasn't a thing till 1995. But, you know, I mean, people can be wrong. People can be very wrong.
Well, the one thing that we have lately is a lot of the Mandela effect happening.
Yeah.
So, you know, you never know. It could have been reported and then just covered up, you know.
Could be.
So,
yeah, I mean, that's definitely in there because, like Ryan and me was talking about earlier, I mean, we know them that government down there is known to make people change their minds.
Yep.
They're given they were given a choice that they couldn't refuse.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was what Uncut just said. The last part of what Uncut just, you had it up there, ED.
Yeah, I can put it back up for you.
Yeah, that actually, you know, mutated from water supply is you know, pretty well documented possibility of happening. All you got to do is look at Chernobyl. You know, the water supply there in the ground was contaminated from radiation, and the earthworms there literally grew in size 33%.
Yeah, they did.
So,
yeah. Did you read some of the stuff they have? Did you read some of the stuff they have on Chernobyl now? They learned that the animals there are evolving 35% faster than normal. Because of the radiation there, they're actually evolving quicker. You know, I mean, that's kind of scary to think about because you're disrupting natural evolution.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't want to go
around.
Godzilla.
Yeah. You know what though, Eric? Let's be honest, dude. If Godzilla showed up, I'd be the guy running towards him, going, "Yes!"
And then splat.
The movie Deep to me would have to come out so quick because I would have to do it at least one time, and that's "It's Godzilla! Run!" I would have to do that at least once.
You got to run away and look behind you too.
Yeah. Yep. You got to make sure you fall too. Fall at the most inconvenient moment.
I'm surprised they didn't have something like that happen with Fukushima.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who's to say they didn't though? You know, I mean, is the Japanese government going to tell us everything that happened? No.
Yeah. No. Yeah, true. No. I do know for a fact that the Mothman was sighted there during that event.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, he was paying a visit. You know, he's a tourist. Mothman is the ultimate tourist, man. He goes everywhere he wants to go.
And speaking of which, they just had the Mothman Festival in Point Pleasant.
Yeah,
So,
Ashley went there.
man.
So
yeah, I would have loved to have gone to that one this year, but no way.
yeah, I'm surprised
Not
you
this
weren't there,
year.
brother.
Not this year.
Next
I
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look
But no, I mean,
at
so
Eric. Eric's having a
there's
good
so
time.
Yeah,
He is.
dude. I'm like a fat kid in the candy store right now. I'm having a great time.
Oh my goodness.
But
Oh, God.
but no, I mean, a lot of these theories we talked about would make sense, especially because there's no actual historical documentation of these things. You know, there really
I mean,
ain't.
there might be
Back to
though.
close
There might
range.
be, Eric. You know, maybe we're just not looking in the right places. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, anything that's out there, the tribes or whatever, they've come across it, okay, and they're gonna make paintings of it. They're gonna talk about it. They're gonna have oral traditions about it. They could be calling it something different, and it's just going under our radar completely. You know, and that's something that we got to find out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which would lead me to one thing, kind of like what we talked earlier. Could this be a type of a vampiric canine? And what we're looking at in history is we're looking at something else, and we're not breaking it down this way as well. So I mean, this is something we probably need to think about when we're doing research on this.
Or
instead of reports, things are similar.
Right. Or what we could do too. I mean, look at all the stories of goblins and gremlins in America, right? Maybe the Chupacabra was one of these goblins or the gremlins they're talking about. You know, just because it didn't suck their bloods doesn't mean that it wasn't the Chupacabra, you know, because they were afraid of goblins and gremlins too. You know, settlers were terrified of these things. Europe too. Europe has goblins and gremlins. Maybe it's the same thing. We just don't recognize it.
Yeah. I mean, goblins and gremlins come from Norse mythology, and they're known to eat people. So, I mean, there is some aspect of that involved in there. So, I mean, they're known for that.
Yeah, it could be connected somehow. I mean, I like to think all things are.
Yeah.
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 I tend to. My main theory on the whole thing is still that it's an alien type of an entity.
I would agree with that, brother. I definitely agree with that one.
You know, that's just because of the oddness and the location of, you know, where it was sighted being within that special access program military installation. You know, and I seem to recall sometime in the early 2000s a report coming out of Puerto Rico where there was two paranormal investigators that were camping out in that mountain area where it was sighted, and by the abandoned military installation. And during the night they were camping out, they saw the Chupacabra running around past their camp, and it literally ran right past one of the guys within inches of them. And I seem to recall he said that it was running on two legs. So, you know, that to me sounds more like an alien than it does, you know, an animal.
Yeah. I would agree. I agree, Brother William. I think it is extraterrestrial. I mean, maybe it's an ultra terrestrial. You know, it's interdimensional. It can pop in and pop out. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of theories we can go with on this one, man.
Yeah, that's true.
When did CERN fire up for the first time?
I don't know.
2006, I think it was.
So it was the 80s when they started building it then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind. I'll leave that out.
Well, what was your theory? What were you thinking?
Don't give up just yet, Eric.
I was thinking I was thinking if CERN fired something out, because we know the whistleblower report that I talked about on one of the Sunday or one of the Morning Brew shows, the whistleblower report I got on CERN. I was thinking, could they have opened this as something that escaped from there? Because we know that they're opening portals up to other dimensions, even hell, and things have been getting out. But if we're having reports all the way back in the 70s or 90s, whichever aspect of it you want to look at, then from what we know, let me rephrase this. From what we're told, CERN hasn't fired up till the 2000s. We know very well that this stuff has been going on longer than that.
And the other thing too on that whole CERN thing is you got to take in consideration, in order for them to even have the ability or the knowledge to create CERN's Hadron Collider, they had to have a smaller version of it somewhere using it for experimental purposes. Whether it was a scientist in a garage somewhere, or in the basement of an old government building, they had to have a smaller version of the CERN collider, the Hadron Collider, in order to know just what the possibilities would have been.
Yeah.
Can you go back to that question from Ghost Dragons, Eric?
Yes, sir. Right there. Oop.
Nope.
There he goes. Oh, nope. Damn thing's glitching on me. Sorry. I'm getting chats popped up right when I click.
That's okay. You know what, Ghost? Actually, a lot of people theorize that Bigfoot might be like some kind of recording device for the Greys. They think Dogman might be something that's alien. So could aliens be dropping things off here? Why not? If they can create these things, why wouldn't they be dropping them off?
Yeah. And, there's also the theory too of, the possibility of these being more of a dropped off, not only by aliens, or an alien race, but more like a divine entity, whether it's a fallen angel or something along that lines.
You never know.
So
you never know.
Yeah. I mean, we know that the true fallen angels, not the ones most common people think of, the true fallen angels never lost their power, never lost their ranking. And they're known as demon kings or hell kings.
Exactly.
But they created the demons that we think of, that we mistakenly call fallen angels, which ain't the true fallen angels. They are the creations of fallen angels. That's definitely in that realm.
Well,
dude, you got some stuff on Jinn, Ghost? I need to know that.
Sorry,
I just seen
Ghost. You're gonna have to tell me that.
Jinn. I actually, if you guys haven't caught it, I did a video, or I did a live about poltergeist, and I showed a very similarity between poltergeist and Jinn hauntings. How they're very similar. I showed videos on that live. That's why I
missed
get a
that
kick out of it. Oh, dude, yeah, it was fun.
I'll go back and watch that one.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I may still have the videos. If I do, I can send them to you.
Yeah,
but
please do.
I showed the comparison. I showed the comparison how they're very similar. With a Jinn hunting and a poltergeist hunting. So, I mean, with all this stuff, dealing with Jinn here, that's why I went, because I love Jinn. I was over in Iraq and Kuwait and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's very prominent over there. That's why I always had fascination with it. And that's where I learned the difference between growing up what a genie is and what a true Jinn is.
Yeah.
Well, I look at Hobbit's statement here, and I think to myself, well, we all have this theory of us being a prison planet. So, I mean, how many hundreds of times have we heard it? They called Earth the prison planet.
Right.
I've always felt like we were stuck inside a petri dish with the plastic lid closed on it, keeping us in a certain location to experiment with. So
I don't know. I think nowadays, brother, aliens drive by Earth and go, "Oh shit, there's Earth." Roll up your windows, and they're rolling their windows up, locking their doors. Going, "Yeah, no, we don't want to talk to the humans, man. Don't make eye contact."
I was when I was in the Marines, I was stationed over in Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii, on Oahu, and Waianae. Back then, anytime you drove through Waianae, you rolled the windows up and locked the doors. So I can actually see ET doing that.
Yeah.
So
well, it is currently. Wow, we've been talking for almost an hour and a half so far, so that's pretty good. If you guys want to give your final thoughts on what the Chupacabra is and answer any questions that the family in the chat has, that'd
Okay.
be great too. I'm gonna take a break from talking because I can't breathe. So give
All right,
me
brother.
one second.
Go ahead, Eric. You got
Yeah.
the floor, brother.
Oh man, put me on the spot. No, I mean, to me, as far as alien goes, that is definitely one of the very top leading theories of what a chupacabra could be.
Yeah.
But I can't dispute the other things we talked about too, because all the others fit this very well. True, we need to dive, probably change our search vector when it comes to this in ancient Mesoamerican history
Yeah.
to learn more, but also consider other aspects too. So
Yeah.
I would have to say Alien probably one of my top, if not the top, probably close to. I'm bouncing between that or vampiric type entity, probably
Yeah.
being a close first on both.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'll stand on the alien hill, but I'm open to be proven wrong though. Like if somebody has information historically that they can send my way to show me it's from Earth or whatever, then I can change my mind. But for now, I am going to stick with the whole it's an alien thing. It's an alien creation that was dropped here.
Yeah. Riley, I
All
mean,
right.
I can't disagree with what you're talking about there, Riley. I mean, that is definitely a possibility, especially
that's
considering
another
we got to factor in, we got to factor in the red eyes and what red eyes has been tied to. So
Yeah.
that definitely is a good possibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ghost
I
says,
just
I
hate it
honestly
because
think
whenever when somebody says something about a shapeshifter, they always try to categorize it as a skinwalker, and a walker
Yep.
is not has nothing to do with the whole. I mean, I'm so close to just giving up on that subject that it's
well,
getting utterly ridiculous. The hundreds of people that I see posting stuff about, oh, there was a skinwalker that walked through our camp up in Maine last night, and da 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 da.
I'm so
Sorry.
sick of that, brother. I am so sick of that, dude. But I got a promise I have to fulfill to my Dene friends, so I can't give up.
Yeah. Well,
I promised them I would try to educate the masses, and well, that's what I'm gonna do.
well,
yeah.
you gotta. People forget something very, very, very important when it comes to paranormal, supernatural, and cryptid. There is many, many types of things out there that shape their shift. Many things out there. They're not all the SW. Reptilians known for doing it. Bigfoot or Shiatonka has been known to put something in your brain to make you look at something. It's not really shaping your shift, but that is common in that.
Yep.
There's so many creatures. I mean, both the paranormal, supernatural, and or in all three cryptid field that is that way. We have to quit. SW is a clickbait thing right now. Everybody and their brothers on the SW. So if you
And it's
talk about
sickening, dude.
SW, it's just this is where we're getting. This is what I talked about at the beginning of the show. That as researchers we're having trouble with because everybody wants to hit the newest, latest, greatest thing to get that clickbait. And this throws off the truth of what things are, which really, really harms people. It really harms people. And we have to consider there is many things out there. So that's just my soapbox, dude.
Well, I just wish that people would start showing respect to the Dene people. I mean, they make this joke out of the SWs, and it's no laughing matter. It's something they take very, very seriously, and they're actually genuinely afraid of it. It's not right for any people to just take it and be like, oh, let's make a TikTok of this and make fun of it and try to get click on money and get views. It's appalling to me. I think it's just disgusting. It's cultural appropriation, and it's showing a major disrespect to the religious beliefs. And I think it's messed up, and it needs to stop.
Right. Well, I'm in the middle of doing an investigation here. A report of a Wendigo.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
we had a pretty good show the other week on that.
Yeah, I'm the guy is literally, I'd say not even a half an hour south of me. So,
oh, brother, be careful, man.
I'm in the middle of doing that. So,
You
But,
better be careful, Brother William.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Nothing's going to be able to do anything to me.
They better not, because I'll come looking for them.
Yeah, I'm protected, man. Trust me, I'm protected. And I still got the knife I used. So
good. So
Riley has
what's up?
Riley has a question. He wants to know if SWs and the big W are the same. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, but if you want to hear my thoughts on those things, Riley, I've done shows over on Gemma's channel where I talk about the SWs and the big W.
We had a really good big W show the other day.
Yeah, we did. You can also check out Eric's channel. We just had a discussion about the big W the other day, not too long ago.
Which is where we come to find out that it seems like what was messing with me last winter was probably a mimic, which was originally what I named that video was a mimic.
That's good.
Which, there you go, another shapeshifter, mimic.
Oh, you got so many shapeshifters, man, from all the different beliefs. It's crazy how many shapeshifters are out there.
Yeah, yeah. But not all of them are the SWs, okay? We just got to make that very clear. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well,
Roxanne
it could be.
No, why couldn't it be a product of a cryptid that was once one form and developed into something more? Now, we kind of touched about that in the beginning of the show, yeah.
Hey, it could be that, Roxanne. There's so many theories and options on the Chupacabra that it's hard to decide which way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the shape-shifting theory on it is to me, it's more of a mutation than anything, a viral, some type of a, I don't know, like if it bites something like the vampire type of a legend where if you're bitten, you become a vampire,
That would make sense.
I mean, it just, to me, it's some kind of blood-related virus that makes them mutate. So
I'd agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
But yeah, and it can still be alien and have that happen too. So I mean, there's so many, like you said, there's so many. Blue Doe, good to see you. There's so many ways we can go about trying to figure out what the Chupacabra is. And there's really no idea that even if what that doctor had in Texas is even considered a Chupacabra, because when you stare at something like that, I see a coyote with mange.
That's what I see.
Yep. 100 on that one. I'm sorry. I mean, I've been that way since the get and go with that. And ever since I seen that, I mean, that was the first thing that screamed to me was either some type of canine with mange.
Yeah.
I would agree with that, man.
Yeah, it makes sense, it really does. Especially because, I mean, if you've ever seen, well, there was a photo going around on the internet about a black bear that had mange, and just because it was stretched out a certain way on the ground, it looked like a Bigfoot or a dog man or something along that lines. And that's how they labeled the picture, the dog man. I got this on my trail camera. Well, it's obviously a black bear that has mange.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's kind of a problem with the cryptid world, though, brother, is they don't go out and they don't know nature very well. And I keep telling people this, that you got to understand the known animals before you can understand the unknown animals.
Yep.
It doesn't work where you can walk in the woods and go, oh, well, that's a dog man. It's just a bear. That's not how this works. It's detrimental to know nature, to know Mother Earth, and to know the things that live on.
And that's like I was talking at the beginning of the video. Like I've seen so many of them that was a hairless coon and a hairless possum. I knew the very first second I saw that video, that's a coon. And these people are like, man, I trapped this. This is mine. And they're trying to make money off of it. And they're promoting this, which tells me they know what it is. They're trying to make money off of this. But the very first time I saw it that's a coon. I mean, I've skinned enough coons in my life from eating them. I know what they look like without hair. That was a coon.
Right.
I mean, they look weird without fur. Definitely. Anything looks weird without fur. Any animal. But it doesn't mean it's a cryptid of any sort. So,
well, I could even throw this out there too at you guys too. When they found the Nighthawk monster on the beach, there was all kinds of rumors about it being some kind of mutated thing, but all it was a bloated freaking raccoon that lost all of its hair.
Yeah, and it was decomposing too.
Yeah.
The front part had decomposed. Yep.
One
that's
of them
all
was
it
a monkey.
Mhm.
Yep.
Riley, I posted that in the chat. Let me know if it popped up. But yeah, I remember seeing one of them, and it was a hairless monkey that escaped from that island that drowned.
Yep. Yep. That's why I keep saying you got to study the known animals before you can study the unknown quantities.
I gotta agree.
Yeah.
Ghost Dragon. I gotta agree with Ghost Dragon here. I laugh at all those top 10 scary videos that they put out now. And there's one channel
those are
out there
comical.
that I refuse to watch. This one channel because they are so out there with their descriptions on where it came from, what it is, and all that. And it's oh my god, I can't remember the name of it now. One of them Squeezed Lemon, and the
I know
other
that
one,
one.
yeah, and the other one is, oh my god, what was it? Something trail cam videos. Oh man, I can't remember the first word that it's called, but they are the worst out there when it comes
Yep.
to identifying certain things. They fabricate where the picture is taken from or the video. They fabricate what it is, because they have no idea what the hell they're looking at, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not one to say that I know everything, but my God, if a goat's a goat, label it a damn goat, not a goat man, a goat, So
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Thank you, Riley. I appreciate that.
Yep. Riley, I used William's platform and typed up the link there. So let me know if it according to YouTube, it popped up in there this time.
Yeah, it did. I see it.
Yeah, I see it. I see it on my end.
Okay. For
So you
some
gotta go get
reason,
some rest,
sometimes
Yeah,
when
but
I
you
type
guys,
on YouTube,
yeah. What was that?
You got to go get some rest.
As a
I know you're not feeling well.
Yeah, I do have to get some rest. It's been a long day. I want to thank everybody in the chat for being here, man. It's been fantastic watching the comments fly by. I just wish I was more capable of talking and carrying on a conversation. But it's something I learned to deal with. But yeah, I pretty much know what my limits are, and we're at an hour and a half right now, and that's pretty much my maximum right now for this time of the night. So, and I've got to save my energy for going out tomorrow and after the podcast and doing some of the investigative stuff that I have to do with this Wendigo sighting. So,
you just be careful, brother.
Yeah, I always am, man. Always am.
Okay. All
so,
right.
I've got my medicine bundle with me, and if that doesn't work, I've got my 45. So,
all right, good. All right, well, you go get some rest, brother. You get to feeling better, man.
Well, Ryan, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, bro. And Eric, thank you for being here. Why don't you guys describe what you got going on? Ryan, I want you to describe what's going on with your book too, okay? Because I want them to know about it.
All right, so the Wendigo book is almost done. I've got it almost set and ready to go to the publisher. I'm hoping it'll be out by December. I think reading a Wendigo book during the winter would be really great for everybody. But I'm trying to arrange where I can get some glow-in-the-dark prints and some T-shirts made for the first 50 people that buy my book. So what you'll get is you'll get my book, you'll get an autographed copy, you'll get a glow-in-the-dark print with artwork done by me, and a shirt with artwork done by me. So if you want the book, you got to let me know so you can be one of the first 50 people. After that, I'll be working on a Skinwalker book and an Indigenous lore book. So there's 3 books coming out from me.
Wow. I thought writing one book was a pain in the ass for me. Anyways.
It is. It's a pain in the ass, brother, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be a lot worth it. But I got to talk to you about the Skinwalker book because I want you to contribute to that.
Okay.
So I will contact you about that.
All right. Sounds good. Eric, how about you, brother?
Right.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what Sunday's show is right now. I'm doing some research on Saint Germain because I'm going to do a video on him. I'm kicking around possibly doing a little bit on it on my live, but if I'm doing a video, I probably won't. So I don't know yet. I've got succubus on my head quite a bit. So I'm
That
kicking
sounded
around,
wrong,
probably doing
dude. That reword that, Eric. Reword that. Rephrase that.
well, I mean, that's what Lilith is, and we kind of talked about that when I did the Lilith live,
Okay.
about her being a succubus, which is a type of vampire.
Man. I'm not going to
So
sleep
I'm
right
kicking
away.
that around. I
Yeah,
haven't
me
got
neither.
the finished edit of my latest book back yet, so I'm still waiting on that. Hey, Kat. But I'm hoping to have that back anytime soon. So far, when I read chapter 1 of that new horror that I started, this seems to be a pretty good hit. I've already had one person want me to read chapter 2. You guys go to my YouTube, check them out. Let me know if I can't read very good. I struggle with reading very hard, very, very much. But if this is what you guys like, I have chapter 2 of it done, so I don't lose track of where I'm going to go with that book. I can put that out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I got going on. What's it?
I haven't even started the second chapter to my book yet, so
Yeah.
you're farther ahead than I am.
He's
Well,
making
I'm trying to finish up.
Yeah, I got
I'm trying
certain
to finish
areas
up
written down, certain paragraphs and stuff written down in stories, but I don't have it put together yet, for a second chapter. So
Cool. Yeah, I'm almost done with my vigilante book, which is another line of my sci-fi, basically called Death's Harbinger. I'm almost done with that. I'm trying to focus on it. I've been busier than one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest at work. I've been hammered at work. So by the time I get home, I am exhausted. So I've not had a chance to work on that today. I lost water at like 5 something this morning. I spent most of the day trying to get my water up and going. Finally got it going. So I've not had a whole lot of chance to do research or writing. So
right, all right. Looks like.
Don't forget tomorrow morning show, Saturday Morning Brew with William and me.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we've got the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show, which is the Good Coffee program. So we come on at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So it's late enough, but early in the morning enough for people in the West Coast to join us. So but we have a good time. We talk about everything supernatural, paranormal. I mean, it's just an open discussion, is what it is. So we've been, I've been kicking around the idea. I'm gonna come out and disclose something tomorrow morning that I encountered. Ryan knows about it. I've already inquired with him what he can do with it. But I think it's something that either you're gonna think that Nighthawk is losing his mind, or you're going to be blown away. So it's like I've said from the beginning. There is so much going on around us every second of the day and the night that we don't see and that we don't hear. Okay. You would be amazed. I mean, when I walk in my life the way it is now, with my condition being the way it is, and my spirituality being as it is, I see things all the time. Sometimes I'll be in the middle of a conversation and you can ask Eric, it happens all the time. I'll look off somewhere and it's because I see something,
Right.
Whether it's shadow moving or an orb or what I call, the basically an energy vampire from the shadow realm, which is, I call the shadow. That's what I call the veil. I call the veil the shadow realm, because in my path in life with my disabilities and stuff, I've learned to embrace the certain spiritual aspect of what I've been brought up in. And I literally, when I sleep at night, if I sleep at all, I'm literally dream walking in that realm. and I see things in that realm. I see what only can be described as like a shadow person, but it's actually like a type of a jellyfish with the tentacles hanging down. And sometimes when I look at people, I see these things over top of the people, and I see the tentacles touching their shoulders or their head. And I look at the person, and I can tell that the person that's being affected by this being is having like a lethargic moment where they're just energy zapped. These things are literally energy vampires from the shadow realm. I see those all the time. I see shadow people all the time. I see what I call wisps all the time. A wisp is like probably maybe as long as a laptop computer, and it has like a tail on it. It's like I don't know, kind of picture an orb with like a tail feathering off of the ass end of it and just zipping by you. I see those a lot. I see, orbs all the time, and, it's just, I interact with a lot of things. One thing I've been interacting a lot with lately around here is little people. And they're around here all the time, and that's something that, I plan on talking about pretty soon.
Nice.
But, it's just stuff that I've learned to deal with because of my upbringing. I didn't have that normal childhood that normal people have, because of the black magic upbringing.
Right.
And and with the Native American on top of that, it kind of got the double whammy growing up.
You sure did.
Because I was hated for who and what I was, so I was really negative towards everybody else that wasn't Native American. And obviously, I'm not that way anymore. But it is what it is anymore. But I plan on putting a couple videos out pretty soon about some of the stuff that I'm experiencing, and that way it can be notated, and people can either believe it and take it for what it's worth, or they can not believe it. The choice is theirs. I'm not going to beat my head up about trying to convince anybody of what's out there.
Nor should you.
I'm just merely talking about my own experiences. So, and I will come forward tomorrow morning with something I've been talking to Ryan about a lot, that happened to me very recently, and it's been something I've been in. Let's put it this way: I've been investigating it, and the more I find out about it, the more weird it gets. So, anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. If you can, everybody, if you can like, heart, and share this out. If you want to, subscribe to the channel, it's Nighthawk Strangers podcast channel on YouTube. If you know me on Facebook, hit me up on Messenger, or friend me on Facebook, William Nighthawk. And that's Nighthawk with an N, not a K. And, I'll help everybody out as best I can. As Ryan said, I help out as many people as I can with supernatural problems. And that's why I got involved in this Wendigo case here locally. So I'll be videotaping the results of that too. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Everybody, I'm glad everybody was here. I hope everybody enjoyed the time that they spent here. Just a couple of friends sitting around at a table talking, and there's a lot of things we still need to learn and find out about this world and about this life, because we're here for a purpose. What that purpose is, we never really know until it's almost too late.
True.
So, all right, well, thank you everybody for being here. Ryan, thank you very much, brother. Love you very much. And,
love you too, brother.
I'll hit you up. Send me your mailing address too, so I can get that stuff out to you. Okay. And we'll go from
Of
there.
course.
Eric,
Absolutely. All right.
I still got Eric's package sitting here, so I'll be mailing it out too pretty soon. So,
No worries.
and everybody else. So, take care, everybody, and question everything. Okay, don't take everything at face value. Question everything.
Yes.
We'll see you all later.
Peace.